Three, two, one. Welcome back, everyone, to the Briones Pickleball Podcast, our second episode in 2025. Pickleball enthusiasts, we're here to get you better at the game, get you more knowledgeable about the game, and I'm happy to reintroduce, for the first time in 2025, my co-host, Caden.
What's up, everybody? What's up? Dude, long time no see, long time no podcast.
Yep.
But we're back. And we're better than ever.
Stronger. 2025 is going to be an amazing, we'll just here at Briones Pickleball. I'm super excited for everything that's happening. Caden, what are you excited for this year, dude?
Just pickleball, man. That's all I got in my life besides my family. No, super excited for this year. As you guys already know, I'm living with two pickleball players. Their names are Agiga and Pesiteoni, so I have some pretty sick
pickleball stars,
roommates, dude. Yeah, pickleball apartment, baby. Got some exciting news for you guys to share. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Okay, you don't want to do that now, then?
No, I don't want to spoil it yet. Okay.
All right. Well, let's jump right in. We are going to. What is the agenda here? Well, why don't you? What is it? Okay. We'll go to, next week, Caden, we have our 5-day intensive.
Yeah, we do.
Let's go. Please sign up in a link below if you want to cane with myself and Caden. Join us for a 5-day intensive. Caden, favorite thing about working with players that are super dedicated to this game, man?
Yeah, I mean, just to reiterate what I've said before in previous podcasts, but the 5 days are the best in terms of, for the students and actually for us as the instructors, getting 12 people together who are absolutely dedicated to getting better. I mean, it's just nothing better than that. And I gotta admit, everyone comes in with a smile on their face, and it doesn't matter how sore, how tired, they are ready to go, and it's the best experience for me teaching wise. So if you guys are ever in Arizona or just want some really good coaching, 5-day intensives, there's nothing better.
Yeah, so Caden and I would obviously love to see you. Now we are going to hop right into the tip of the pickleball tip of the week. But for the tip of the week, actually, instead of us giving a tip, we are going to give a few pickleball tips to some questionnaires, to some players that are asking us questions.
Let's go.
And we'll get We'll get right to that once I find it.
And 3, 2,
it is right there.
Bam.
All right, Caden, why don't you read our first question, where they're from?
All right.
Bang it out.
Our first question is from Debbie from Alberta, Canada.
All right, 4.0 level.
She's a 4.0 player. She said, "How can I identify the type of spin on the ball as it approached? I know what I should do to hit each type of spin, but can't do it during gameplay at quick speeds. The ball pops up or is in the net."
Tough one, especially at higher levels with players who are using the technology to spin the ball. Caden, any just simple, actionable things for players? Yeah.
Well, I would say typically if you're looking to identify different types of spin, you should always be watching your opponent's paddles. The motion, the paddle path of that paddle will always kind of give it away of what they're doing. So for example, if a paddle is swinging out this way, right, I know that ball is going to probably spinning with some backspin. If it's a low to high motion and the paddle head is down, good chances that it's going to be topspin. And of course, there's not too many different types of spin, but anytime you see kind of motion of the paddle or kind of flicking or flipping or brushing up, there's always going to be some type of spin. So you just kind of have to watch that paddle a little bit closer.
Yeah, just generally, right, Caden, the more the paddle's moving, the more it's going to have some
junk on it.
Unless they're lifting upwards. But we may have to do a video on that, you know. There's topspin. Obviously, the ball is kicking at you. There's slice, with different kind of forms of slice where it stays really low, but there's also backspin where it can bounce high. And then a lot of, I think at lower levels, players use a lot of side spin. On returns.
Some higher level too.
Returns and serves.
I use some side spin.
Yeah, but that one's a little tricky. I think that's more of the trickier ones at lower levels.
Yeah.
But if you could kind of recognize where their paddle is ending and then have mental cues from that, But yeah, you do have to get a lot of reps. But one of the things that actually it might be helpful, go out on the court and just like hit some balls like certain ways, like where you're swiping left to right, right to left. Watch where the ball's going. That'll at least give you, some sort of like do it yourself.
Watch how it bounces right in front of your face.
Yeah. And then that might help. Mm-hmm. All right. Next question. Thank you for that question, Debbie. Next up.
All right. Vale. Also from Canada, but he spelt it Kusanada.
VC.
Yeah. From British Columbia.
Okay.
3-5 level player.
Vale, savage, huh? It's not really savage. But.
Close. His to stop bangers who continues to bang at you until you make a mistake, and I always feel like I am in a defensive situation and can't get out of it. So I love this question because I would say a few years ago, most would tell you to absorb and soften up. But with the game at where it is now, you have to work on your mentality, which is just that little mental cue of saying that every ball is going to be coming fast. So when I'm playing someone who likes to bang, I am expecting pace until I don't get it. All right, which means I am always going to be ready for that ball to come hard until it doesn't. All right. The second thing I'm going to work on is a good punch volley. The reason for that is typically if they're, hitting the ball hard all the time, they're going to have to be swinging low to high if that ball's a little bit lower, okay? If it's higher, sure, okay, maybe we got to drop the paddle, but typically we're going to get a lot of balls at our chest or our face. So we have to develop this punch counter so we can get this ball down at their feet with pace. Yeah. All right. I promise you, if you get that ball down to their feet with pace, they are going to be rethinking their strategy. Bangers will bang until you give them a reason not to.
Ain't that nothing short of the truth?
Yeah.
Huh?
Amen. Amen.
Yeah. So little typos on these questions here, but how to beat bangers. You're right. Two things I would add is the return. It's going to be really tough to beat bangers if you don't have a quality return.
Yeah.
And also your balance before your counter volleys. Check out, we got a free video actually. Check it out. Go to crushbangers.com.
Damn.
And, we have some cool.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, we have a really, really cool video for you to actually help you just with that. Thank you so much, Vale.
All right.
Next question.
Last but not least, from Michelle Blanchard.
Well, not from Michelle, but it is. I guess
from Michelle. Yeah, but she lives in Massachusetts. All right, she's a 3-5 pickleball player, and she says, I've been drilling with the same partner for the past 2 summers and fall, on average 4 days a week for 2 hours each session. That's really good, Michelle. I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
We have become friends off the court. I want to leave that partnership to focus on more intentional practice and drill with someone else. It is a difficult conversation, and I don't know the words to say that won't hurt my drilling partner. What do you suggest?
Man, Caden, we're getting kind of getting deep on
that
this
one.
podcast.
Is spicy, Michelle. Well, let me tell you, it is never hard breaking up, whether it's platonic, whether it's maybe non-platonic, whether it's pickleball,
or non-pickleball.
Yeah, exactly. Here's what I would say. I wouldn't necessarily cut out your drilling with that person 100%
right away.
Yeah, but maybe you can dial it back a little bit. Maybe instead of 4 days a week for 2 hours, maybe you just do 2 days a week or 1 day a week, and if you can, maybe you say, hey, you have to plan out your schedule maybe a little bit more and a little bit earlier in advance. And so, you can start out by saying, hey, I set up some drilling or some playing with this group or this person over here. But why don't we drill this day? And then, why don't you just try and find maybe a few different people to drill with? So instead of just dumping them to the side, you just kind of drop the numbers a little bit, gain a few other people to drill with you, and I think everyone would be pretty happy with that situation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, tough one, Michelle. Caden, I'm sure you and I myself, we've all had multiple drilling partners.
Yeah.
At times. It's good to have variety, Michelle, and that's one of the things that you could kind of mention. It's good to switch it up.
Yeah.
It's good to switch it up.
Maybe just mention, hey, I'm going to start drilling with some other people as well. You know, maybe we can do these days instead of all these days.
Yeah.
You know, so I wish you the best of luck. That is a pretty sticky situation. I know I'd be thinking pretty hard about it as well. So, you know, whatever you decide to do, we support you, Michelle.
Yes.
But yeah, remember, you know, everybody. I want everybody to be happy here. So
there you go.
Don't just drop that person. Okay.
All right. Later on in the show, just in a little bit, actually, we're going to be talking about Ben and Collin Johns.
Damn right we are.
Top of the pickleball peak again, or at least on their way out.
Yep.
We'll talk about that and last Masters. And we are going to talk about some situations that came up in the Masters that were pretty striking, what I can say. Yeah,
no doubt.
But before that, this podcast is brought to you by ATTACKMasterClass.com. As this game is getting more offensive, you're going to want to continue to learn how to attack. So go to ATTACKMasterClass.com. We got a free video for you. What do you have to say on attacking? I mean, we hear it all the time. Sometimes things become a broken record, Caden, I think. Mm-hmm. You know, every once in a while. But what can you say about the game in general as you're on the pro tour playing against these pros? I want to get your perspective, because is it really is it over exaggeration, under exaggeration, or right there when people say this game is getting way more aggressive, and if you don't get aggressive, you're going to be left behind? True or false statement?
It's pretty true. It's a pretty on task statement.
Okay.
Now that being said, I think, you know, there are specific styles that work. You know, you see like a guy like Kwong where, you know, the aggression works and the hand speed is there to, you know, to help out and clean up. But also at the same time, I still think dinking is something that is necessary for the game. But you never know. I mean, shoot, there might the kitchen might not even be a thing in a year. I mean, we'll see. You know, but it definitely. I will say the game has gotten much faster just year by year. You know, not only with technology but new players. You know, the ball,
global
the weather.
warming.
Yeah, right. There's so many different things that can kind of change the situation in what would maybe happen or maybe not happen. You know, pickleball, you know, I would say this week at Masters, it was so windy. You know, sometimes, you know, you're on a side where you just have to bang and hit hard, and that's how you're winning your points. And then on the other side, you have to slow things down and be a little bit softer and a little bit more patient. So, you know, you always have to make those kinds of adjustments, but no doubt this game is definitely getting faster. I don't know if I can say, you know, those who don't adapt are going to be left behind, but you're seeing the more aggressive play more and more each day.
So kind of, actually to wrap it up, Caden, I mean, in a way you're kind of saying that though, right? I mean,
sure.
Yeah. I mean, if the attacking players are rising up, here's what I would say. And here's a good way to put it. I think I really like what you said about, you know, the dink game, the reset game is still going to be necessary, right? Unless they take away the novelty zone, which I don't think they're ever going to do.
That'd be wild.
But the attacking game is now, I would say, just as necessary as the resets and dinks.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a complete player, you need to work on everything. Mm-hmm. So Ben and Collin, they take it. Don't know where the picture is, but anyways, here's the Masters website here. They take the Masters. This was in Palm Springs, Palm Desert. I get them confused, kid.
Palm Desert.
So you came from this, and let's talk about, you know, who'd you play with, Caden? And then we'll talk about the finals in a second. It's Sunday as per this recording. But Caden, you were there with all the pros.
I was.
Who'd you play with? How'd it go?
Yeah, I played with a guy named Yuta Fujinawa. He was like the #1 soft tennis player in the world in Japan, and he's now fully converted into pickleball. And he originally moved to America to pursue pickleball and was training a lot with Scott Moore, who is a...
Oh, there's a fly in here. Go ahead.
Can you get out of my face? Sorry. Excuse me. But he was training a lot with Scott Moore, who's a living legend in pickleball, but now has moved to Arizona. And so I've been able to practice and play with him a little bit more. And he's very, very, very impressive. Very different style of game, but I absolutely love it. Loved his energy.
Okay. Utah, huh?
Oh, I got him.
Okay, don't mind us. There's a fly in the studio. Caden's freaking out.
I don't do flies, bro.
All right.
But yeah, I played with him, and then we did have to qualify. There is a new rule with PPA that
Okay, what is it?
if any unsigned player is signing up, you are immediately in the qualifier. So we did have to qualify. We did have a first round bye, so we only had to win one round. We actually were down 5-10 in our first game and came back and won 12-10. And then
There you go.
second game was a piece of cake for us.
All right, so you ended up playing Marshall Brown in
Mohawny. Yeah.
Good team.
Good team. We should have won the second game. We were up the whole time in the second game and just didn't go our way. Very unfortunate, not satisfied, not okay with it, but really enjoyed playing with Utah, and I definitely would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, haven't seen Utah. We gotta have him in the backyard playing some rec games.
He's got some sick hands. Sick hands.
All right, so let's just quickly go over the results of the championship. So Ben and Collin, we know. Well, let's talk about this first, Caden. We got our boy, your roommate here. Let's go back to the semifinals here.
Yeah, bro.
Augustus.
This was a sick match.
Yeah, Augustus Augie, as you guys may know, and Jaume Martinez Vic played Hayden Patrickin and Federico Staksrud, one of the best teams in the world right now, and lost in the third 11-13.
Yeah.
And I think they were up with some game points.
Well, they were up.
Right?
They had Federico called one of Jaume's lobs out. That was not out. That's pickleball, though. I don't know how it didn't get overturned. They challenged it and everything. Didn't get overturned. That was a little crazy. But, I talked to Augie after the match, and he is in good spirits. He's feeling good about it. I was watching it, and no disrespect to Dave Fleming, but he's got to show my boy a little bit more love, man. He's got to show.
Was he not?
Just my opinion.
Really?
Okay. He's got to show him a little more love. I love you, Dave Fleming. I do. Show my boy some love.
Dave, come on the podcast. The voice of pickleball, man.
Voice of pickleball.
All right. But yeah, so we got that. Ben and Collin, obviously, they were on the other side of the bracket. Christian Alshon, Andre Dascu, which, man, on paper, great team.
Yeah.
Great team. They did split games, so let's talk about the championships just really quickly. Ben and Collin, get it done. Oh, man, I did not see the score yet.
Bro.
3 straight.
5-10-3. Jeez.
So I would like to see this. Hayden and Federico have beaten the Johns, I think, the past
few times, yeah.
Few times. It's going to be interesting. Actually, I really need to watch this back to see what they did.
Yeah.
Strategically, or if Hayden and Federico just didn't play the best that they could.
Yeah. So, and Augie and Jaume lost to Christian and Andre 9 in the third, 11-9
for bronze.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah. Incredibly.
Well, shout out to you, Augie. Women's doubles. I don't want to forget that. Oh my.
Ooh.
Okay, some close games here. We got Anna Bright and Rachel Rohrabacher, Catherine Pronto, Anna Lee Waters, the two dynamic duos, and we got Anna Lee and Catherine taking the first two games. Anna Bright, Rachel Rohrabacher taking the third game, and then Catherine, Anna Lee taking the fourth. 12-10. So there you go. there you go, everyone. Some news here. We can talk about this. We have actually, before we talk about this news, let's just look at this point really quick. If you've been living on a rock, or pickleball rock, you probably haven't heard of this. We're gonna watch this together. If you're listening to this on the podcast, we will explain what we're seeing here. I'm gonna actually just keep the sound off.
Okay.
But got a little roll from Kwong, little 4th, 5th, 6th shot from Kwong, keeping Collin back. Boom. Resets by Ben. Then we got a little dinkage from Matt Wright, and oh my goodness gracious, little stare down. So Matt Wright is playing with Kwong Tuong, which is interesting partnership. But here we go. We're gonna see this one more time. Got a little roll dink, and we got a full send ball. So
where'd that ball go?
If you're not watching this, and you're just listening to this, I'm going to replay it basically. I think a dink from Matt Wright or Kwong, I'm not sure. Middle dink. Ben kind of puts his paddle back, then puts it further back, then puts it further back, and basically
hit the snot out of the ball.
He basically full sends the ball, and it goes, like, it had to go in the bleachers, yes or no? Like, it had to.
I'm pretty sure the ball hit Mars, and then, yes, went in the bleachers, yes.
Then Mercury on the way down.
Yes.
So I've never seen this from Ben.
Yeah, no.
But let's just talk about this play really quick. And then I have some pretty strong thoughts here, but go ahead, Caden.
Where do I start? Well, I personally have nothing against Kwong. I personally have nothing against Ben here. So, for me, it's kind of an alpha move. By Ben here. I think it was kind of just to personally, here's the thing, is if I did this right here, I probably would have put my hands under, like, near my legs, and then started doing what we call the BBD. And that is called the big ball dance.
Okay.
Now, Ben kind of just gave a little stare down there. I thought that was a little cute. Reasoning behind this, I have no freaking clue.
So
I have no clue.
Okay, let's get down to hold on, just really quickly, Caden. Let's get down to what do you think about this, so we can move on from this. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I don't love it, but I also don't hate it. It's part of the game. Okay. I definitely, if I were Kwong in that situation, I definitely would have been looking right at him as he was trying to stare me down and act tough. I would have definitely been looking at him like, okay, that's how you want to play it, okay. But I don't know what the reasoning of it was. Maybe just, I'm sure, I mean, it's got to be something like Ben doesn't like Kwong, or
I don't know. Okay. Go watch the video. Go on. I don't know who is this. Pickleball.com.
They actually are a really good Instagram page.
Yeah, pickleball.com Instagram page. But here's my take here on this. One, I have to watch the full. I kept skipping watching before, so I got to rewatch the whole match up until then.
Yep.
But in the interview, in the post-game interview, I don't know.
Shoot.
I don't know
if you say something then.
So they were they interviewed Ben and Collin, and then he just basically Ben played it off as just like a warning, like a little, hey, you're gonna bang at me, I could do that too. But here's my thoughts on this. I watched the whole, unless there's previous history I don't know about, up until that point in that match, Kwong was blast balls, hits balls really hard as he always does.
Yep.
But they're legitimate balls. They're to the body. They're to the chicken wing. Like nothing out of like the ordinary.
Yeah.
And then it's randomly, at least in my eyes, maybe I have to go watch the match again. Comment below if you don't agree. But then there's a full send. I mean, above shoulder high. So two things. Number one, that's pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Number two.
Yeah, you get hit in the face by that. That's not.
Well, no. If Kwong gets hit in the eye, we're talking about complete blindness for life.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be. It doesn't take much.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I've seen it done before a few times. I don't know. I don't know if I like the play. I do think there's a sense of maybe doing that at the right time, but I don't know. It would be very, that was surprising.
Yeah.
That was surprising.
Yeah.
So
I do agree. You know, if that were to hit him, that, you know, it's pretty dangerous, you know.
bro, if that were to hit him, we're talking about, I mean, that thing was full send, bro.
No, for sure.
So
It's funny because I've thought about doing that more often. No, I mean, it's a part of the game, but, you know, and I will say Ben and Collin have always been, how do I put this?
I just don't see it justified. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. I didn't get it. It
Ben
was
and
a little
Collin
weird.
have
It
always
was a little
not liked players that just bang the ball. You know what I mean? Like, even when I played them in Atlanta.
Well, welcome to the new pickleball,
When I
everybody.
played them in Atlanta last year and like almost beat them. I remember Collin getting pissed off at us, like just driving and crashing at him because we were winning points on it.
Yeah, I mean,
and he was like,
ridiculous.
he was like, this isn't even real pickleball. And I was like,
Did he say that on the court?
that's what someone told me. I was just like, well, like, what, like,
But-
what? I have to play real pickleball to have your respect.
But no, but this is what I'm saying. There's a difference.
here to beat you.
There's
That's
a
my
difference
job.
between driving and crashing. There's a difference between body bagging.
And then blatantly
what Ben
smacking
did,
a ball
I
as
think is
hard as you can.
I think it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Unless his accuracy was, I mean, now Ben, number 1 player in the world, accuracy, he could probably hit a nail on the head, but I just hope that he was being really accurate and missing on purpose. Like, I don't know.
Let's hope so.
I don't know. So,
I hope so.
all right, those are my thoughts. But on Quang Duong, shout out to you, Quang. Actually, love to have you on the podcast sometime. Yeah, some interesting events. I don't have the video pulled up, but you guys, I mean, it's not a secret. There was a match that he missed a dink, and then there's exchange of paddles, and we know that Quang is signed with Selkirk, and then a proton paddle, kind of came out of the
Randomly
bag here,
popped into his hands.
and I mean, what are we going to show here? I mean, we have this to show, I guess. We have this here update on Quang Duong Selkirk situation.
Yeah. Pulled out
and,
a new proton flamingo paddle this
People
week.
were saying that he was
Fully decked out in Selkirk gear.
yeah, people were saying that Selkirk was going to sue him and all this. I think they're classier than that. They did do a cease and desist. And I don't know. I don't really know all the details.
Oh, here, I'll read a little statement from Selkirk. Here you go.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We're getting to the facts.
Here you go. Quang Duong is under contract with Selkirk through April of 2025. Following multiple contract breaches he made over the course of months, with the first dating back to September 4th, both on social media and at in-person events, we continued our efforts to work with him to find resolutions. In the hopes to prevent continuous and additional breaches, which included unauthorized auction of unreleased paddles and prototypes to the public, a cease and desist letter was sent electronically. Claims of serving Quang Duong on the pickleball court at a tournament or even in person are inherently false. At Selkirk, we believe in honoring and fulfilling agreements between us and our partners/athletes as a way to grow the game and build the sport.
Well, there you go. There you go, folks. Take that with what you will. That's a Selkirk statement. Now, quickly, Caden, I want to talk about, so Ben and Collin, they go out of the Masters winning it, which is interesting because they're going to be probably not playing for a while.
Yeah.
Or ever again. I actually don't know what's happening.
Yeah, we'll see.
But
All up in the air.
yeah, but obviously Ben, on the last podcast, I talked about Ben and Gabe Tardio, some strategic things, and I basically talked about how difficult they are going to be, how much of a problem they're going to be.
They're going to be tough.
But
really
what are your thoughts on, what are your thoughts on their success this year? I want to get your take. What do you see, and on the Pro Tour? What do you see? Any movement with top 10 players, or who do you know who's playing with who? And let's kind of break it down before the year starts.
You know, one thing I will say is we definitely saw a much more aggressive Collin this week, and I think that probably had something to do with, a little bit more success. Collin is a very good attacker on that right side. I remember, playing him, and he kind of ate me up the first game. And after that, second and third game, he really kind of settled in and just played a little bit more conservative role. But I think this week he knew that he was going to have to be a little bit more aggressive on that right side, attack that player in front of him a little bit more. It worked. It didn't work, but I definitely will say I'm positive it worked more than it failed.
Okay.
But also that being said, I know Gabe did agree to play with Ben after he had originally, I think, was supposed to play with JW. So I definitely think that will leave some question marks for who JW will play with. I mean, Augie is definitely a realistic answer, but I know Augie does also love playing with Jaume. So we will see. I think we could. I know Riley has been kind of searching for a good partner, and I think he would play with JW. So maybe that's an option as well. I definitely think there's going to be some rumbling throughout the pickleball world, and some new partnerships that we thought we would see coming into 2025 that maybe aren't going to happen anymore, and maybe are going to be changing here in the next month or so.
All right. Well, there you go. Right before we get into the big news here, Caden. Actually, we're going to hop right into big news. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Do you have a little post or something? Or
Yeah. Here, I'll
what do we got here?
up for you real quick.
What do we got here?
Hold on.
So we got some news in the Caden Nemeth world. Just really quick, as he's pulling that up, I know a lot of the listeners here are continuing to learn the game or are just starting out. We have a really awesome course that we just created, and just check it out, totalpickleballmastery.com. It goes over all the essential and fundamental shots that you need to hit and strategies for this game. It's a very good resource for you, and we stand behind it. But I just wanted to mention that. Caden, what is the big news, buddy?
Yeah, if you go to your text messages really quickly. So if you do or if you don't know, there's a tour, a PPA tour actually in Australia. It's owned and ran by the PPA. There is a different commissioner, but it is called the PPA Tour in Australia and MLP in Australia. And I was fortunate to actually get drafted by a team out there. So
got a Asia Aces 23rd all over pick. So we all know what the MLP is. There's MLP Australia. And Caden, what is happening, bro? You're flying out to Australia, or what's going on here?
I'm going out for some events out there. It's super cool to represent, an Asian team. I definitely, resonate with my Asian side very heavily. So to be drafted by an Asian team is really cool. My team captain is Asian. His girlfriend also on the team is Asian. And then I believe Marcella, she lives in Brazil, but I believe she has some Asian in her as well. So, we're just going to go out there, kick some butt, have some fun. I've also never been to Australia before, so it'll be a first for me and a sixth.
You're going to love it out there.
I hope so, man. I've heard there are a lot of spiders.
Kangaroos?
I don't care about the kangaroos. I care about the spiders, okay? I'm terrified of spiders, so hopefully it's not as bad as one says it is. But no, super excited for this opportunity. Obviously, I'd love to play for MLP here in the U.S., but this is kind of like a step over, and it'll be a new experience, new opportunity. I'm really, really excited for it. I'm really excited to play with Kenta, Aiko, and Marcella. It should be a lot of fun.
All right, dude. Oh. Awesome.
Actually, wait, do you have that last? Wait, hold on. Go back to your text.
Yep.
Go back to your text. Yeah. What messages? Go up. Oh, wait.
No, that was it.
That's a video of...
That was it. That was
dog.
it.
Wait, hold on.
All right, so Caden's going overseas, Australia. Wish him luck. Maybe we fight.
Here you go.
I don't know if they, stream those matches.
I hope they do, but also at the same time, I'm probably going to be playing when you're sleeping, so
yeah, that's true.
probably you'll probably have to wait to watch.
Nothing's coming through, Caden, so we're gonna
hold on.
probably move.
There we go. Here we go. This is the video that.
Someone who is itching to make
What
their
is this?
selection is Kenta Mayoshi. It's now time for the Asia Aces with our second last selection of round 2.
Oh,
With pick number 23 in the Major League Pickleball Australia draft, the Asia Aces select
wow.
Caden Nemeth.
Yup.
Caden?
No, that's the commissioner, bro. Don't do her like that.
No, I like the accent.
Oh, okay.
Premier League.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your duper? 5.8?
Yeah, it's bad.
Is it
Arizona Pickleball League actually tanked my duper, so a little sad. You know, it used to be like a 6.2, but what can you do? It's not the duper that matters; it's the play.
Hey.
You know,
There you go, everybody.
it is pretty tragic to see my duper.
What are we at? 35 minutes. You know what? Let's wrap it up with a last 3 questions. Continue to send your questions in, everybody.
Yeah, we love them.
You know, we want you to get educated on this podcast. We want you to learn and grow. We're just going to end with the last few questions here, everybody. Okay, so here we go. From knock it out, Caden. Here we go.
All right, we have Kathleen from Washington. She's a 4-0 pickleball player. She said, I am a 65-year-old, small stature woman, and I use a Pro Kennex Black Ace Pro.
Oh.
I hate to tell you this, Kathleen, but your paddle is now banned. Okay, it's banned. It's gone. I started using a Pro Kennex Flight when I got pickleball elbow, and it cured my elbow immediately. Being comfortable with the brand, but wanting more power, I switched to the Black Ace, which will be banned. Yep.
Oh, she knows that.
Yeah. And she knows it's getting banned. What type of paddle would you recommend?
Before you answer,
get for more
before you answer,
power?
Caden, let me take a wild guess what Caden's gonna recommend. All right, Caden, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, first things first, I would typically say if you have pickleball elbow, watch how grip you are gripping that paddle. I would say most forearm injuries or anything arm related usually has to do with grip strength on the paddle. Maybe a little bit too much usage of the just the shoulder or the arm. So look to maybe get more of your lower body engaged and involved in your game. But if I had to recommend a paddle to you for a little more power, I would personally recommend to you a Yola. Now,
give us a Yola recommendation, and just from your friends and stuff.
Yeah,
give us a non-Yola recommendation.
So I will say the Pro Kennex. If you were to switch to a Yola from the Pro Kennex, I would either recommend the Perseus or the Scorpius, just based off of shape. And if you like the Black Ace pop, maybe try the 14. I personally use the 16, and that still has very good pop.
You're talking about the 3S.
The 3S, yes. I would try the 14 if you like more pop. If you feel like you need a little bit more control, then try the 16. But if you're using the Black Ace, the 14 you should really, really like. If I were to recommend a paddle that wasn't a Yola, I would recommend quitting pickleball and playing a different sport, because there's nothing else I'd want to use.
Okay, moving on to the next question. Go to our YouTube channel, Briones Pickleball Reviews. We actually review Yolas. We review a whole bunch of channels.
True.
Go check that out. Next question. Thank you so much, Kathleen, and everyone who sent these in. Go ahead.
Yep. All right. We have David from Fargo.
And just to be clear, not Wells Fargo, but just
Fargo. Fargo, is ND North Dakota?
Yes.
Gotta be,
it's
right?
It's
gotta be.
It can't be Kansas.
It can't be Wisconsin.
It could be new development. Okay, let's move on.
Anyways, he's a 4-0 pickleball player, and he said, I have been focusing on third shot drive, and fifth shot drop setup, but more often than not, tend to put that into the net. My common fault is I'm not set well enough on a fifth as a move to the non-volley zone, but what are your thoughts on hitting a fifth shot drive if the ball is high enough while in the transition zone? Both opponents are usually at the NVZ.
You want to take this or me, Caden?
Do your thing. Go ahead.
All right. So I really like the context at the end. It says both opponents are usually up at their non-volley zone. So number one, if you're listening to this, kind of anytime my opponent is in that transition or not quite all the way, I'm going for a drive almost all the time. Whether it's the third, fifth, or seventh, so that's something you really want to think about. Applying pressure, hitting it to the feet is generally really good strategy. For the setup, one of the things, and I'd like you to get your take on this, but I think what's really important, especially at higher levels of play, unless you're really very, very mobile and you can just drive and crash and run, it's really important to stay really balanced after you're finishing. So I hit my drive, come into some sort of split step where you're super balanced, so that if the counter or if your drive was a little, weaker than you thought or higher than you thought, you can be ready to reset the ball. Or if your drive was good, you can split step and then be ready for, another drive or a drop. But on the drive or drop, again, on the fifth, it really is situational. I mean, if you do think you could have some sort of advantage on the fifth, then go ahead and drive it again. But again, the closer that ball is to your feet, the lower that ball is, you might have to reset it. Thoughts on that, Caden?
Yeah, I would just say personally, if you're getting caught on the fifth in the non-volley zone, maybe it's not a bad idea to just stay back after your third and watch one more ball. If you find that maybe they're popping up a little bit more on your third, then maybe start to move forward a little bit. But I would also just say watch your timing. Making sure you're getting set for that fifth is really important. I think more oftentimes than not, when we're going through transition or in transition, a lot of the times we're not actually set as we're hitting the ball. So maybe just be a little bit earlier than you normally would. Be a little bit more aware of when you're moving and when you're not.
Yeah, so drive that ball, come to some sort of split or stop, then assess.
Yeah, whether it's in transition or still back at the baseline.
There you go.
That's fine.
Last question from Marvin from Florida, 3-0 player.
Heck yeah. All right. For beginners, to start playing pickleball, they must learn how to serve, return, hit ground strokes, and volley. But the pros spend a lot of time teaching them to dink, which they probably won't use for a year or more. Also, in other racket sports, the players warm up with strokes that they will use when playing. In pickleball, they warm up with dinks instead of the strokes they will be using in their games. What gives?
I got it. Okay, so I want to start with this one because I think I've actually kind of changed my philosophy has changed over the years. Okay, so as this game has gotten more aggressive, as I've coached now for almost a decade, there's a couple things here to hit on. First of all, you're right. If you're 3-0 and you're playing 3-0, the first 4 to 6 shots are the most crucial shots that you can hit, because we know that rallies end a lot sooner than that. So, when it comes to footwork, when it comes to making contact with the ball, contact point, it's really important to learn those kinds of things. And Caden, obviously, dinking is always going to be part of the game as we teach in our intensives. But you do have to hit. You should hit the shots that you're going to be hitting. Now, Caden, for us, right? If you're like a pro and you're playing at a high level, I kind of want to ask you about this. It'd be interesting because for us, we would be warming drives, resets, and then transition, and then dinking in hands.
Oh yeah.
Like if you watch pros warm up for a tournament, you're going to see drives and drops, a lot of resets, dinks and hands, like counters. That's what it's going to come down to. What do you? I think the answer is more geared to like, what if you're a 3-0, what should you warm up? And I think that kind of makes sense in a way. If you're not going to be hitting dinks, then
but here's the thing: is just because you're not hitting dinks doesn't mean you shouldn't know how to hit dinks.
Yeah.
Right. And I think one of the main reasons why pro coaches teach dinking and spend so much time on dinking is because as you get better, you're going to have to dink. which means you're going to have to not only know how to do it, but also be good at it as well, right? Otherwise, you're not going to be getting better. So I definitely would say, yes, maybe work the shots that you are going to be using in the game. Oh, man, the fly's in my water. But also at the same time, work on the things that are going to make you a better pickleball player, not just the shots that you're going to be able to use in those 3-0, 3-5 games. And that's the biggest thing is I've gotten that question before too, is like, oh, well, why would we learn something that I'm never going to use? It's like, well, you're going to have to use it eventually. Yeah. And I'm not here to teach you how to beat your 3-0 friends. I'm not here to show you how to beat your 3-5 friends. I'm here to make you a better pickleball player, right? So even the skills and the shots that you're not using yet, you still have to learn and develop. So,
all right. Well, there you go. Again, we talked about having a complete game. As this game is getting more aggressive, Caden, there's more shots that you're going to have to continue to pick up. So have an open mind. Make sure you're practicing the things that you should. Follow us on our YouTube channel. Check those out. You may see Caden soon.
Yep.
On a video.
I got APP Fort Lauderdale coming up this week. Let's go.
Okay. We'll be following Caden for with that. Thank you, everyone. Caden, do you have anything? I know it's a quick podcast today. Hopefully you got some, good value out of this. Let us know in the comments below what, if you, are interested in anything else. Caden, you got anything, dude?
Buddy the Elf here. In the comment section, leave your favorite color. Signing out.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.